All right. Good morning, everyone. Today, welcome. First of all, welcome to our CEJA reporting system office hours. And David is out today, so I'll be leading the session. First things, just for the agenda day, first thing I wanted to do was to follow up on some items that we had from our last office hours. Just to cover some of those items because other people might have the same questions. And then I wanted to give you a preview of an update that's going to be going to UAT this week. So and we'll describe what that means. And then we'll take a look at the outreach and partner tools. That will be the demo towards the end. But first of all, I want to start out with follow-up from last week, and then also, I guess I forgot to mention between previewing what's going to go to UAT, answer any questions that you may have or need assistance with. So I know David was working with a person that was having trouble not being able to see their individuals, and I've come across this also with like working with some of the navigators individually, and we'll be making an update to the system, but I just want to show you how to enter the information, and then that way, until we add in additional logic to force you to enter it this way, it'll make, hopefully make it easier so that some people don't go missing. So this piece is really directed more towards navigators.
Some paper.
Oh, I hear some background. There we go. So we have, like I said, this is probably directed more towards navigators, but it's also, good for everyone to know. So I'm going to click on Add Customer. Oh, I hear some background, so I'm going to go ahead and mute this person. There we go. All right. So whenever you go to add a customer, of course, you're going to enter the first name, last name, email, street information, and either inquiry or do not contact. The situation that we're talking about specifically is whenever you enter a person as an inquiry. Whenever you're selecting either a provider or a navigator. So if you're a navigator, if you want this person associated with you, even if you have multiple roles, and you want this to be associated with your reports and, anybody that has access as a navigator for your organization, then only select the navigator. Don't select any other option here, even if you have access to multiple places. Only select navigator, because whenever you're entering this inquiry, this is one way that, this is the way that the person is associated with your organization. And then whenever you complete the inquiry piece and you go on to the pre-screening and you have the conversation about, their interest and that sort of thing and the various programs that are available, at that point is when you select the provider. So I know I'm saying this repeatedly, but again, I just can't stress enough. If you're a navigator, only select you at this point. And later on, whenever you go to the next step and complete the pre-screening, that's when you're going to associate the provider. So the same goes whenever you go to upload the, I'm only logged in as a test tester, but which is a workforce hub, sorry. But so the same thing goes whenever you're uploading a group of people, select yourself as the navigator. So so that will take care of one of the issues that came up last week. The other thing that came up, and I've done some testing, and the individual that had the issue did send me a production person to look at, and so probably need to dig in just a little bit more, but I'll show you what I did find out, at least in um, I was testing in test. This is UAT, but we'll go ahead and select an individual. So what was happening was that the way I understand it is that whenever you have a person and you go in to complete their career plan, they're an applicant, and then you go over to the career plan and you update, their bridge training service or their job specific training service. I'm going to go in here and pick this person, their bridge training service. And then what was happening is the person, you get them started. That's just fine. I didn't look to see when this person was added in here, but we'll just go ahead and put these dates in here. So you enter the basic information for adding them. You select their provider and you update the information. So I'm just going to say added bridge. And then I'm going to save it. Okay. Oops. Okay, so now this person's in here. And I go back to the career plan. And I can see that they've started. Okay. So time goes on, and now we go back then to this individual because they've completed their post assessment. So we enter the post assessment, and we're going to say this was OSHA. Oop. OSHA. And their first attempt was 60%. And let's say they did this on this date. Okay, fine. So if I tried to close this person out right now, and I say successful completion, and we'll say the 13th, and hit update customer, let's say attempt to complete bridge, and that's just only for my score less, or let's say 60% score. So we're going to try closing this out with only successfully completing it. And it says you can't do it because the passing level isn't met. Okay. So I go back here and I'm going to say, oh, this person retook this OSHA test and now they scored an 80%. And maybe they did that on the 13th. I hit save. Okay. I think maybe if I just refresh this page, let me go back over here. So I have an 80% and a 60%. If I go and complete successful completion and did the 13th, let's say, and I update the customer, now I'm going to attempt it like with updated score. We're going to do 80%. Save it. Update, and it says that the record was updated successfully. So there's two reasons why I'm showing this. Is that one, I just want to make sure that I'm understanding the issue correctly, and other two, just like test it at least in UAT. So that means like if there's anything that's like a hiccup or something and that's in production right now, it'll be fixed with the UAT, what goes out to production next. My next, so I was able to save it as successful completion. I think the other option that they had mentioned, the person I mentioned, is like, let's just say I remove 80%, and so I can't mark this person as successful completion. But at this point in time, I could mark them as unsuccessful completion. Say like 60%. Okay, so so that, let's just go back here to like the career plan. So let's just double check and make sure, like, so even if I had less, less than, I can only have a successful completion if that post assessment is high enough, but but if I don't, I could mark them as unsuccessful completion. Okay, here it goes. Now try marking the person as training complete with a 6. Okay, so I did do training complete, but but I won't be able to mark them as successfully completed until I have the higher score. So the only thing I could do is mark them as unsuccessfully completed. So if I try to do successful completion, because I don't have that above 80% in there, I do successful completion and hit it. Yeah, okay, so okay, so in the real quick, I'm sorry, I know I'm talking back and forth in the chat, but do you want me to have them as unsuccessful completion here before I go to the training completion tab? Or do you want me to successful completion? Okay. So let me go to, I'm going to go ahead and re-put the 80% in here because I can't mark them as successful completion unless I have it. OSHA. And then I'm going to mark this as 80. And we're going to say this and save. Oh, I lost my note. Hold on. My chat, I had all kinds of AI people coming in. All right, so let me go here and I'm going to mark them as successful completion. And we're going to do this and let's see. Successful completion. And I'll say both 60% and 80%. Oops. Okay. And hit, well, typo there, but that's okay. So it went ahead and did it. Okay, so now when I go to program follow-up, if I mark them as complete and add a completion date, now this part of this is a little bit of a challenge. Well, I'll show you in just a minute, but if I hit this, it would let me do them as, it did it as complete. So we might need to take a look at any, like if there's something specific, like a specific person, maybe we might need to take it off to the side and just like look, do a deeper dive in. Well, you gave me a person to do a deeper dive. I'm just kind of scared to like change some of their data. You know what I mean? I don't want to, I'd rather do that with you to take a look at it. The other one I thought that you might have, but might have had some trouble with was more about the withdraw date. So let's say I think in my testing scenario, I had them as marked as unsuccessful completion. And then I tried to withdraw them and hit save. And it did put that up there. But I have to go back. Hold on a second, I'm looking at your notes. it will show as in progress, even though this is completion status was. I did get that scenario um, whenever I marked them, when I had an unsuccessful completion and withdraw, I got that in progress. So let me go back and let's see if I can do this with this individual so I don't have to go back and um, do, let's just try it with this individual, see if it'll work. I'm going to go back in here. I'm going to take off the 80%. So we're back to this 60. I'm going to mark them as unsuccessful completion and I'm going to save it. We'll just put gook here. Okay, so now just sanity check. This person is marked as unsuccessful completion. Okay, so I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to change this to in progress, I should say. Okay. Okay. So now we're here. So the where I was having it not switch over is if I hit to withdraw. No, I don't know. It's I'm in UAT, so like I said, if there's something we want to have like a side, you know, where we can actually look at the customer that you had submitted and see what's going on with that particular person, um, then then we can do that because I can't recreate it. Earlier today, again, I was testing a lot of things, so I saw an in process, and I don't know, and I was also in the test environment and not UAT, which the UAT is what will go to production next. So either it's fixed in UAT or, you know, but still, I'm, you know, more than happy to set up a time to look at some of those specific individuals that you had, you know, just in a one-on-one so we can see what's going on. But just as again, as a sanity check, the scenarios that I covered in with testing on the career plan and the program completion, does that does that cover how how you would expect it to work for your scenario? Because like this update is what will be going out to production if by chance there is something currently in production, this would overwrite that. So you can just let me know. And yeah, like I said, if you want to set up, yeah, okay. Uh, and again, if you keep having trouble with those specific individuals, I just think it's, you know, we just need to have like a one-on-one and look at some of those specific individuals to see if there's something that needs to be updated from even from the back end. Um, so okay. And but this, I just want you can try it again, but I just want you to know that again, I'm in UAT, and so this, you know, this isn't out for production yet. Um, but when it does go to production, this would fix that if there was an issue. All right. So, does anyone else have other questions or situations that they've run into that we'd like to take a look at before I cover some of the things that are going to be going out to UAT on Friday? All right. I'll go ahead and cover what's going to go out to UAT on Friday. And if anyone wants to participate in testing UAT, you're more than welcome to let us know that you're interested in it. We do have some individuals that have volunteered early on, and so that's who we usually send out the information to. And it's very helpful to have people test the system, and then we can get some of those updates that we may have missed during testing um, updated before they actually go to production. So I'm going to have to go into test because we haven't pushed these updates to UAT yet, but I do want to show you um, some of the things. This is kind of like a preview to let you know what's coming. So the way that we do like updates, we do these, if you're not familiar with it, we have cycles and they're called sprints. And so we do development work in a sprint, and then we push it out to UAT so we can get user feedback. And then the following week, it goes out to production. So for all my UAT people, this isn't out there yet, but it'll be out there on Friday. This is just a preview for you. And the first part that's going to be going out is for um, the workforce partner or workforce hubs. And what I want to show you, let's see here. Hey, see if I have a person I updated just uh, today here. Okay, this person is a person I just updated today and was testing. One of the things that we are doing is to try to put more like logic and direction explanations in for certain things so that you don't have to guess. So like when um, like if something needs to be added, if something needs to be closed out, uh, for these various scenarios for completion status. So with the Workforce Hub areas, they added some additional completion statuses. If you are a ClimateWorks person or returning residents, when you hit complete, it's still just going to be the standard complete. If you are a Workforce Hub, this is what's coming. Um, it's not out there yet, but it's coming. When you hit complete, you have these three different types of options. So you have successful completion without bridge training, successful placement without job specific, and then successful completion of bridge and job specific. So you will have these options to choose from. They're already on your plan versus actual. It pulls that data, but this is to help better describe the scenarios for the completion. And so, for example, if I picked successful completion without the bridge, it's going to, when I select it, it's going to tell me what I need to do, what actions need to be completed in order to be able to mark this person as completed. And if I meet all the criteria, then I can put in a completion date, mark it as complete, and then save, um, uh, and then it'll be marked complete, and it'll have this different type of this completion type that's specific in this case for the workforce hubs. So things to come in the future is that as we do these different completion statuses, whether it's complete or withdraw, when the system does an edit check it won't just be a blind statement like you need to close out all of your services. It gives you more direction as to what you need to do for each of those services to complete and have all your data all nice and tidy for this particular scenario. So just kind of give you a heads up of like what's to come, and we're trying to, again, provide more guidance as as you're entering this data. Okay. Has anybody thought of any other questions that are coming up while I was covering that? Because if not, we'll go ahead and cover the Outreach and Partners tab. I guess before I jump over to Outreach and Partners tab, do any of the RAs or CEJA team have anything to add or any question, anything to cover before I move on to this other section?
Nothing from me at this time. This is Nate. Thanks.
Uh-huh. Oh, wait, sorry. For anyone
Nothing
we
for
have,
myself either.
okay. Uh, I did see a question come in on the chat. It says, for anyone we have marked complete, do we need to adjust to the new completion options? Off the top of my head, I would say no. But that is something that let me just clarify it this way. If it's already marked as complete, they're still gonna be marked as complete. I don't foresee having to go back and add the new completion options, but we can double check with the CEJA team.
The only place I'd say that might be something we need to do is if they had one of those other completion scenarios. Otherwise, I think we assume the complete means that they completed both bridge and job specific.
Great. And it would still pick up, like, in the plan versus actual, the logic is still there to identify those other scenarios too. So good question. All right, so we're going to dive into this outreach and partner section. So whenever you go into the CEJA reporting system, there's a section called outreach and partners. I'm going to click over to the outreach just to start there because it's the first tab. One of the things that we'll just start with adding an outreach event. Whenever you add an outreach event, if you have access to more than one location or you wear hats for different organizations, you're going to pick the grantee that's associated with, and you're going to give it a name. And then you're going to select the audience type, business or individual. You have the outreach types. This list has been adjusted, so these are the options to choose from. So let's just say we're going to do an in-house event. You put the date and the number of attendees, and then you can add a follow-up note and hit save if you'd like to add a follow-up note. And then you can see it shows me these different like in-house events. One of the things that I could see that some people may have questions about is you're like, okay, well that's great, but let me just like reset. If I hit reset filters, you'll be able to see all of your different types of events that you had in the past, even if they were entered in prior to prior to the update for this outreach type. So the information is not gone, it's still there, but we did make an update so that for your outreach types, it's limited to these 4. And then I'm not sure if Nate or Larry have anything to say about anything. Do you have you had any like frequently asked questions or people that have had any questions about these types of entering outreach events that maybe we could cover? Or has it been pretty much self-explanatory? Oh,
I haven't gotten any additional questions, but if there are outreach types that you think should be added, just let us know and we can see if that's something we can build into it.
That looks like Heidi has a question in the chat.
Do we add our community stakeholder partners that we work with closely as referral pipelines for recruiting purposes as our partners?
Yep.
So we have, a variety of filters up here. When you go to add a partner, you'll enter the partner name, the type. You can do you can select one, or if you hit control while you're the control button while you select, you can add multiple ones. If you're like, oops, I didn't mean that, you can just click it and get rid of it. So you enter phone number, email, industry, we have the lookup for that. Those are not required fields, but obviously, it's helpful to have that information. Their interests, again, you can select multiples. Are they a apprenticeship sponsor? The street address. Which grantee it's associated with. Do you have a memorandum of understanding and process? Complete, not applicable. And then I can add a partner note, or if I hit add partner information, I can go ahead and save it. It's going to prompt me to add a partner note. So I'm going to say added, let's see, 218, met with partner 218. I don't know, whatever the note may be. You hit OK, and you can see that those notes are saved with this partner, and you can continue to add notes to that partner. When you add notes to the partner, they are also in your contact notes. So you can see with this one, I added it, I met with a partner. So you can have a summary of, the different contact notes for each of the partners. Are there, or if you want to edit any of them, you can click on that and edit the information. Are there any other questions or anything else to cover specifically about that with either Nate, Larry, Candace?
Nothing else from me. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Are there any questions from of our programs? I know there were a couple questions or comments in the chat. All right. Well, the other thing I guess I meant to show you and I forgot while I was over here is on the outreach tab, there is an export button. So when you export the information, it puts it into, an Excel file and you can have that listing as well.
Natasha, when you're done with your updates, I wonder if you might just show them how cool the export feature is and show them some of the cool stuff they can do with that to kind of verify participants.
Nate's favorite part of the system, I think.
It's just been helpful when I'm trying to help align the data across the monthly report in the system. Just knowing how that export kind of function works has been pretty helpful.
Yeah, I think it's really good for troubleshooting too, because or like understanding why, why isn't Natasha showing up in this field? Well, now you can look at it and be like, oh, because I need to, we need to make this update or something weird is going on. So, yep, export is great. So, what it'll do is if you filter, whatever you narrow your search down by, up here with your filters, so that it populates this list down here. That's the list that's going to be exported. And so whenever you export that list, there are some that are going to be in there no matter what you do, but you can either select all or unselect and just pick and choose what you want to look at. I like to um, I like to see it all, but you know, if you're only looking for very specific things, you can you know pick and choose which of these items. So I'm going to go ahead and export the information.
And like when I'm trying to help align the data, a lot of times what I'll check is all of those status dates. So like the pre-screen date, the application date, enrollment date, and that really helps kind of drill down.
Yep, and you know, you can see the different, so we have the different programs, you know, you can filter by these programs. You can filter by grantee navigator. If it says worknet ID is 0, these are like your inquiries. So that's before it ever actually gets down to like creating an Illinois worknet account. So these are all your worknet IDs. You can see the status of these. I'm going to filter it down to, for example, enrolled. So when you're looking at various reports and stuff, you'll see, there's so many lines here. Let me move over here. You can see all the information for these people as it goes, you know, the information that was entered into the system, but you can see like they have a pre-screening date, they have an application date, they have an enrollment date, and they don't have a completion date, they don't have an exit date. So there's like various reports, for example, in the plan versus actual, where it says like the number of applicants or the number of enrolled. And so, you know, whereas a lot of times people would filter and say, oh, the number of applicants is, you know, on my list is 10, but in my plan versus actual, it says that there's 20. And so, you know, in the plan versus actual, it's saying the number of applicants. So it's anybody who's ever been an applicant. So one of the easiest ways when you look at this export is like, I want to see anyone who was ever has a pre-screening date. I want to see anyone who ever has an application, or you can see, I only want to see the people that had an application date in 2025. You know, you can narrow it down by the list by these various filters. Same with enrolled, same with completion and exited. I think these columns right here are super, super, super helpful when trying to narrow it down to a group of people and things happening for those individuals, you know, for a specific time period. But we have all kinds of demographic information. Oh, if it says not on file, it means that, you know, like this particular person doesn't have a bridge service. So if I want to see somebody that has, well, this is actually bridge completion, but if I want to see, you know, they started their bridge service, but they don't have it complete yet. So they started it, but it's not on file because they don't have a completion. Another one that's really, I think, helpful too is like if you're doing a bridge service and you can see that these people have either started it or they've marked it complete. And then you're like, well, how come some of my cohorts aren't showing up on my plan versus actual? This is an easy way to look at this group of people and then filter it down and say, well, these are the people that have a bridge service and they started it, but they don't have a cohort entered into the system. And that's the same thing that goes along with each of these, you know, job specific items as well.
So
Nate, go ahead.
as I'm working with folks, one of the things that I see often is that your internal records might have bigger numbers than what's in the system. And this is a pretty good way to kind of figure that out, to like sort them all, say, okay, here are all my participants. I've got 100 applicants, but only 80 in the system. Then you can figure out, oh, by comparing the two lists, oh, okay, here are the 20 that are missing. And then you might notice, oh, they're all with my solar provider, or, you know, they all finished the bridge on this date and something just got missed in the update. So it's a good way to kind of characterize, like, oh, here are the 20 and here's what I'm noticing about those 20. So yeah.
Any questions about the spreadsheet, or has anyone else out there been using the spreadsheet or the export to have other tips or tricks to share with the group?
Natasha, this is Larry. I don't know if you saw the question, I think from Idalia. It said, is the update profile section still being updated? Did you get a chance to answer that?
I'll have to check to see if it's in the sprint.
Okay.
If it's not in this sprint, then I will make a note to, we have our next planning coming up tomorrow, so we can get it in that sprint.
All right.
All right. Well, that's all I have for today. I don't want to keep you extra if we don't need to. Let us know if you have any questions, and if not, then have a great rest of your week.
Thanks, y'all. Have a good week.
Thank you.
Tasha?
Thanks.